So you want to build some muscle, you want to be leaner, you want to have the same physique that you see all these athletes have with the abs, the chest, the arms, and everything that comes with it. The confidence, the way you feel about yourself, the way you move yourself on a day-to-day basis, but you don't know how to do it yourself. You're struggling with how to train, what to eat, what you should be doing outside the gym, what sort of supplementation you should be taking. All these different things leaving you confused and feeling unconfident in yourself and not liking the reflection in the mirror. Well, I got you. In this video today, I'll be going over the top 3 things that you need to be doing in order to build the most amount of muscle possible and have that lean athletic physique that you're chasing. Now, throughout this video, I'm going to cover the biggest mistakes that I've seen like lads make in the gym and with their nutrition, and how you can avoid them and what you actually need to do to build the physique that you want. Now, these aren't quick fixes, so if you're here to look for a quick fix, then maybe go to a different video. But this video is for the lads out there who genuinely want to make progress and work hard towards their goals. Now, getting into it, the first is going to be your foundations. Now, I've had to put this at the start because I guarantee you a large percent of you are going to think this is boring, irrelevant to you, and probably isn't the stuff that matters that much. But I'm here to tell you that these things matter, and they're the things that you're probably overlooking right now and could be the bottlenecks that are holding you back from making progress. Now, the basics of the foundations is going to be your sleep, your daily habits, and then your nutrition quality, which also translates into a few other things like your digestion, but we'll touch on that in a bit. Now, sleep is the biggest overlooked factor in my opinion. It's a massive contributor to recovery, hormone optimization like your HGH, which is your human growth hormone, muscle protein synthesis, and then also overall testosterone levels. Now, I won't go into the nuances with these things, but what I am going to say, if you're lacking sleep and sleep quality, then you're going to be missing out on a huge amount of gains. It will mainly affect your recovery and energy levels, which are 2 things which are needed in order to maximize your muscle growth. Recovery, there's no point going to the gym if we're not recovering, and energy levels are needed in order to push as hard as we possibly can within the gym so that we can make progress and build muscle. Now, this also goes into your daily habits because it affects your caffeine, going out for daily tasks like walk, and then also your food intake, which all affect your sleep. So a quick overview of what I want you to be doing every single day. Try to get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. Do this by 1, cutting caffeine off by 1 p.m. the latest, as that has a massive effect on your sleep. Also, making sure that when you come to go to bed in the evening, you're in a relaxed state and not on your phone just before you go to bed. So dimming the lights in your house, using blue light blockers, or just simply turning off your phone will make a massive difference. And the third thing that we need to cover is going out in the sun. The sun helps with setting our circadian rhythm, which is basically our sleep cycle. So being able to ideally go out in the morning and be able to get some sunlight in your eyes is going to massively affect your sleep, but also comes into your daily habits with going out for walks, which is going to help with digestion, overall energy levels throughout the day, and just overall feeling good within yourself. And then back onto the topic of food, we want to be cutting food off around 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed, just to help with digestion and also help with your sleep quality as a whole. Now, there are some supplementations that we can take to help with sleep, but if you focus on the foundations, that will be more than enough. But I'll leave some supplementations I suggest in the description below. From there, we'll go into food quality and digestion. Food quality just basically means getting the majority of your diet from whole foods, because it will affect your digestion, your ability to absorb nutrients, which also affects your recovery and performance in the gym, which are massive things. So try to think of a 80-20 rule. 80% of your food will come from whole food sources, which will easily digestible and you can have on a day-to-day basis. And your 20% is your meals out, your nights out, and everything else in between, which are things that we want to include in our life for social occasions and everything else in between. From there, we want to look into your routine. Your routine is important because it's going to allow you to stay consistent with things. If you can have set days for set tasks and build a training program around your week and what you can fit into it and what's realistic for you, you'll be able to be more consistent. And again, the main thing that you want to be thinking about whenever you're building muscle is consistency over a long period of time, because it takes a long time to build muscle. So don't try and overwhelm yourself training 5 or 6 times a week if it leaves you little to no time to prepare your food and get good quality sleep. I would much prefer a client of mine to train 3 to 4 times per week over a long period of time and also be able to maintain the habits outside of the gym, which will ultimately allow them to make progress as well. Now, going on to number 2 is going to be your training. You now have an understanding of what you need to do outside of the gym with your routine, your sleep, and your food. Now we want to go into what we need to do in the gym so we can actually create a stimulus for muscle growth. A lot of lads get paralyzed by training programs, but here are a few basic rules that you could follow that would help you with making maximal progress. Hit each muscle group at least 2 times per week. Split that across anywhere between 8 to around 16 sets per muscle group per week. And the majority of your exercises should be working in the lengthening range, meaning that the exercise that you pick is heaviest in the bottom position when that muscle group is stretched. This covers stuff like Smith machine pressing, your dumbbell pressing, your squat pattern movements, your RDLs, and everything else in between. Now, this doesn't mean that every single exercise needs to be in the lengthened position, because you will build up a lot of fatigue, which is a topic for another video. You can split that up with some isolation or shortened exercises like leg extensions, preacher curls, and maybe even a pec deck as well. That's kind of the basics. It is very difficult to go into the nuances for each muscle group, as there is a lot to cover, and I'll try to cover that in future videos. But the main thing that you want to be thinking about from there is maintaining consistency, because consistency, again, is going to be the biggest driver for muscle growth. If we're able to consistently turn up to the gym, be consistent with our nutrition, consistently make progress on our program, then we are going to be in a really good fighting chance to be able to make progress. And then touching on execution, again, this is a difficult one to touch on within this video, as each muscle group has a different function, but you have to make sure that you're executing each exercise correctly so that you can drive the most amount of tension through that muscle group, giving it a good enough reason to grow. Now, this is something I do with my clients because they send me over videos of them training in the gym, and I review it on a week-to-week basis to make sure that whatever they're doing in the gym and the program that they've been given by me is not only effective, but is also done correctly so they can build the most amount of muscle possible. Now, number 3 is going to be whether you should bulk or you should cut. I think 90% of people watching this video, you are more than likely going to have to go into a cut before you can even think about bulking. Because think of it like this: we need a big runway in order to gradually build our scale weight up. It's like trying to take off an A380, one of the biggest planes in the world, on a small local flying strip. It's not going to be possible. So you need to give yourself a massive runway so that you can build your scale weight up gradually over time, which should be in line with your muscle growth. So for most, they'll probably have to start with a cut so they can get themselves in a good enough starting position to bring up the scale weight from there. A decent rule of thumb would be, if you're above 15% body fat, try get below it before you start a bulk. And if you're below 15% body fat or skinny, then you can just start with bulk straight away. But the aim here shouldn't be to put on as much weight as possible. You should be aiming for around 0.2 to 0.4% gain per week, because that'll be in and around of what you can realistically gain with muscle over a long enough period of time. But again, the most important thing here is understanding that you're going to be in this muscle growth stage for a very, very long time. A minimum of 9 months, ideally even longer. And if needed, you can use mini cuts to extend that. But again, that is a topic for another day. Now, these are just a few quick fire things, and they're not exactly in the most amount of depth. Now, if you want to see anything in particular in the future, please let me know in the comments below. But if not, I will see you in the next video.